This missionary attack on Islam is nothing new. It's been there for very
It's ancient. It started from the very early period of Islam. Okay,
Yeah.
Christian missionaries, clergy, they started to lie on Islam, literally lie. It starts with John of Damascus. Okay, John of Damascus was one of the later church fathers who wrote in Greek. Okay, he was from Damascus. He was alive during the Umayyad period, and it starts with him. And the tradition continues to this way. I will make a very responsible statement now. Most Christian missionaries commenting on Islam, most of them, not all, most of them are malicious liars, are a bunch of liars. I'm usually very careful with my statements.
Yeah, Adnan and Rashid. Now we will see who is the actual liar. This debate is from 2013. And look the claims this guy was making.
By Allah, if we don't have over 1,000 manuscripts, over 1,000, if we don't, I'm going to show you pictures. Mansoor, where are you? We're going to get pictures. Okay, bring them here. We're going to show you pictures. We have the entire Quran. We have the entire Quran from the 1st century of Islam, which is the 7th century in Husseini Mosque in Cairo. This guy is a compulsive liar. Yes. Okay? We have the entire...
First claim, he said they have over 1,000 manuscripts from the 1st century of Islam. And he was searching around for Mansour to provide the evidence. That is what's happened. Let's see.
Remember last year, Hatun, we were on the ladder with Mansour. Remember, it was just about a year ago, May 26, 2019. We got on the ladder to introduce this book. We were there to introduce this book, not to talk about manuscripts. Remember Mansour Ahmad, who is one of the writers for the Islamic Awareness website, got on the ladder with us, and for half an hour, he tried to harangue us, saying that these are not variants, these are nothing more than scribal errors, blah, 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 blah. Then he says, he made an amazing statement in front of 20 cameras, whether they recorded it all. He says,
that is a Christian behavior. Man, come on, what's wrong with you guys?
Chapter 66, verse 8. Contemporaneous to top copy, or even earlier, or even later. And we find that it's exactly as the Quran today. Then what will establish is this: that this was a scribal error. A scribal error. A scribal error.
Already, he is now admitting that there are scribal errors in the original Quran. The earliest manuscript. Have you heard him admit that? Yes. Number one.
So then we asked him again, okay, let's give you benefit of the doubt. Maybe you said something before you did. Maybe you spoke too quickly. How about for the 7th century, back to 699? Can you find a complete Quran? Since you're claiming it now, you can find a complete Quran, 114 surahs, all 114 surahs, one Quran from the 7th century itself. That means that one that also parallels what we have in our hand today. This right here, the Arabic, not the translation. I'm talking about the Arabic. Can you do that? He was quiet. Finally, he said,
we have more than 97% of the text of the Quran from the 1st century.
Yes. Okay, that's all I need to hear.
Oh, I loved it. And he says, go. And what he was talking about is the same site that Adnan has just talked about on Friday. He's going to the exact same article that you and I have been looking at. It's been up there for quite a few years. It has not changed. Look at those 63 fragments, and you will see we have looked at every one of those 63 fragments, and not one of them can we categorically say are from before 790. There are about 7 of them that you could probably guess.
Okay, Adnan, your 1,000 manuscripts became 7 fragments. Okay, and your claim was that if, alhamdulillah, what did you say? Let's return to your claim.
By Allah, if we don't have over 1,000 manuscripts, over 1,000, if we don't, I'm going to show you pictures. Mansoor, where are you? We're going to get pictures. Okay, bring them here. We're going to show you pictures. We have the entire Quran. We have the entire Quran from the 1st century of Islam.
You have the entire Quran and you looked for Mansour. Look what Mansour is saying.
We have more than 97%.
Even your fake fragments of manuscripts that you have in the Islamic awareness without properly dating, even these fake dated manuscripts, fragments of manuscripts that you put together, that only 7 you have actually dated, and they are in the 1st century of Islam, even that is
97%.
So, again you lied, in other words. Let's continue.
We even have complete copies. The Husseini Mosque manuscript, which is from the 1st century in Cairo, okay? Husseini Mosque manuscript is from the 1st century of Islam. It's in Cairo. It is 99% complete.
Not 100. Now it's 99, eh? I thought you said 100%.
The complete text of the Quran. Only first 2 or 3 pages are missing.
Ah, now there are pages missing, eh? Now there are pages missing. I thought you said the Husseini manuscript is a complete Quran. Isn't that what you said?
Surah Al-Fatiha and maybe the very early verses of Surah Baqarah are missing.
Really? They are missing then? I thought you said, by Allah, by Allah, by Aladdin, by Aladdin and the 8 thieves.
The rest of the Quran is there. Husseini Mosque manuscript. Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, I will add that Allahu al-Askar or Allah Akbar in Hebrew. Husseini manuscripts he started with this is the first complete, this is the 1st century completed Quran, and then after that he said 99% of this Quran is complete. What do you say?
Well, goodness sakes, there's so much you can say about this. If you look at if you go up and put up the PowerPoint again, just take a look at what we have on the Husseini manuscript. And let's just take a look at this Husseini manuscript. Look at that slide number 12. I want to go to one of your Turkish scholars, Dr. Tahir Atakuluc, and also Dr. Ekmelin Ihsanoglu. They are the only ones who really have done a forensic analysis of the Husseini, and they came out with their study in 2007-2009. This is one of the manuscripts that I introduced in my debate with Shabir Ali back in 2014. And take a look at what they said. This is not Uthmanic. It is dated from the early to mid 8th century. It was stated that the Cairo copy, that's the Husseini manuscript, might have been written in the order of Abdul al-Aziz al-Marwan in 704, the governor of Egypt. However, the reason for reaching this conclusion has not been explained. We share the view that this copy is not one of the Muslims attributed to Caliph Uthman. And later on, he goes on and says that this is from the early to mid 8th century. So it's in the 700s.
So, it's not from the 1st century either. Adnan, you non-liar. You non... First you were the non-radical. I remember first you were the non-radical who accuses everybody of being radical, and now you became the non-liar that accuses everybody else of lying. In abbreviation, I will call you the non. You are the non-radical, the non-liar, the non... In abbreviation, just non.
I have the Quran from the 7th century in my possession, in my collection, in my house, in London, in Edgware. I don't want to tell him where I live. Okay, show me the pictures of these manuscripts as soon as possible.
There isn't any complete Quran from the 7th century, but you have it at your home. Okay, so the whole world doesn't have it, but you have it at your home. Okay, we believe that because you are the non-liar. So
now we have the entire Quran from the 1st century of Islam, which is the 7th century. We have parchments of the Quran exactly the same as the Quran we read today in our hands. Yes. There is no question about the Quran.
I have a small question about this. Let's see.
This is, first of all, not a complete Quran, but it doesn't even come from the same century that Adnan's claiming it. Let's go back to the next slide, because in the next slide, Franzo de Roche talks about this. Franzo de Roche is one of the leading scholars in the world today on manuscripts and also on variants. And he puts the date for the Husseini manuscript to the 9th century. Why? Because of the kind of script that is used. It's a monumental text. Therefore, it is much bigger. It comes later. It's borrowed. That monumental text was borrowed from the Christians. And you can see pictures of it right there. What is fascinating is what Adnan doesn't, either Adnan doesn't know, or he's not studied, or he's not read the experts of it. This manuscript, of all manuscripts, he should never have claimed is from the time of Uthman, and he should not have claimed that it's 99%. Why? Because this manuscript is riddled with coverings. This is the one manuscript that Dan Brubaker is talking about. He's got it in his book, the 20 corrections. This is one of the examples he gives. And it's the last example he gives in the book on corrections of early Quranic manuscripts. I was just on the phone with Daniel Brubaker just about an hour ago, and he was laughing when he heard what Adnan was saying. Adnan is not keeping up with the latest. You've got to keep up with the latest findings. Take a look at what Hatun now has up on screen. Look at this one page. This is from Daniel Brubaker's book, not his book. Actually, this is my PowerPoint. This is not from his book. Just the picture on the right is. He has that picture in his book. If you have a copy of that book, go to page number 85, Hatun. Page number 85, and it's that page you're looking at. Now, take a look at that. That is from the Husayni manuscript, the Musaf al-Sharif, they call it, from Cairo. Surah 2, ayah 191 to 193. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different coverings on one page. And nothing has been written over top. In fact, when you look at that, a lot of Muslims don't even know what it says because so much has been covered over. All that has been covered over has been censored. That's called censorship. There are so many of these in the Husayni manuscript that there's no way in the world that Adnan can get away with saying this is 99% of the Quran. What's more, he cannot say that it's from the 7th century. This is from the 8th century. According to Rosh, this is from the 9th century. So even by the 9th century, they still haven't completed the Quran. This does not agree with all the different coverings. And I'm just showing you one page here with all the different coverings they have on the Husayni manuscript. You cannot say that it even agrees with the other manuscript, the Topkapi or the Samarkand or the Ma'il manuscript, the Petropolitan manuscript, or the Sana manuscript, the other 5 major manuscripts. It is above and beyond. In fact, that's why most Muslims do not put it forward as one of the best manuscripts, because it has so much censorship. It has so many errors. It has so many differences that have been, and these have all been done after the fact. In other words, they were done at a later date. Yeah. And that's why I had to laugh when I heard him make these claims.
So, I have I'm someone who God has been so gracious to me. So I have got the Husayni Musaf here, okay?
See, Adnan, Hatun actually has what you claim you have in your house.
I have the Quran from the 7th century in my possession, in my collection, in my house, in London, in Edgewood. I don't want to tell him where I live.
The irony, eh? Hatun actually has what you claimed you had in your house. This book is modern. It's 4 years old. So you couldn't have possibly had this book to your house in 2013. Yet, Hatun has it, and let's see whether it's complete.
I'm just like so kind today. I don't know why, but I'm just turning you. Jay, you're welcome. Here's the Musaf here. This is the page Jay is talking about. Okay? All those covered. And it's not only that, from page to page you go. I don't think you are able to see, but page to page you go. You can even see like half of the page is not there.
So, half of the page is not there, yet it's complete. And from the 1st century. No, it isn't, Adnan. You are just an idiot.
On top of that, what do the scholars have to tell us? This guy, he's still failing his PhD. How long has it been now? Okay, it's not important. It's not important. Don't worry about it. He attempted a PhD and he failed. Now I'll tell you about people who were successful in the PhD. Angelica Newworth, she's a German scholar on the Quran, a non-Muslim scholar. She states in the Cambridge history. Can you pay attention? Can you pay attention? In Cambridge Companion to the Quran, Angelica Newworth, a German historian of the Quran, writes that the traditional view that the Quran is preserved as it was delivered by the Prophet is accurate.
Apologies for jumping in Socrates' son. I was also doing a little bit of research, and it would appear that this German historian also had to say this about the Bible vis-a-vis the Quran. All right, let's check it out.
To Geiger, the Quran represented itself as a florilegium of innumerable biblical and rabbinic traditions that the Quran's author had borrowed from Judaism in order to compose a work of guidance for his community. Since deviation from such an authoritative urtext equaled distortion, the Quran emerged as an unsuccessful attempt to rival the Bible and was to remain stigmatized as an epigonal text.
And I'm making this statement with confidence. They are a bunch of liars. They deliberately ignore physical evidence, empirical evidence, which is in their faces, to confuse their own masses, to take them away from Islam. They basically want to confuse the Christians into thinking Quran is not preserved, Islam is messed up, Prophet Muhammad is immoral. They will keep lying. They will keep lying. They will lie to an extent that they will lose any sense of shame. Not that they ever had it in the first place, right? But they are most of them, they are outright liars. They are liars. Okay, they're not confused. They're not ignorant. They know the truth. They know they are lying. This is why they are malicious liars. Without saying names, without mentioning names. That's why we choose not to engage with most of them. Because they, how will you debate a liar? How will you debate a liar? When you put physical evidence in front of their face, they will say, "Oh, I don't accept it. It doesn't exist." Okay. If you tell someone there's the sun, can you see the sun? He will say, "I cannot see the sun." He will do this.
Your categories have become tiresome. Now's the time on Sprockets when we dance. That's all the time we have on Sprockets. My guest has been my lava helmet. My name is Dieter. Auf Wiedersehen.
Now these are parchments. This is tip of the iceberg from the 7th century. Handwritten. If he can point out one difference from this manuscript with our Quran, which we read today, I said that I will become a Christian. That I will become a Christian. That I will become a Christian.
You idiot! I think we really do have Islam in a corner.